Hi there, and welcome home. Here on Home with the Harrisons, we make content based on our many, many hobbies. For me, that tends to be cooking and lifestyle stuff. For my husband, it tends to be gaming and philosophy. But we have so many hobbies that I can't really list them all right here. If any of those things sound interesting to you, you can consider subscribing if you like. We make a new video once a week. It's published on Monday. Today I wanted to talk about hiking as a family, especially with small children. Now, this is something that we wanted to talk about because it's something that we really love doing as a family. We started when my youngest was just a couple of weeks old, and I would put him in the sling and I would carry him with us. And even now, both he and his brother and my husband and I, we love going out for walks as a family. It just really helps us get our bodies moving, being active, and being outside. Both of those things, being active and being outside, being very important to my husband and I, as things that we want to encourage in our children. Things that we will cover today are how to prepare for a hike, things like planning it out and getting packed and stuff like that. We will talk about how to make sure that everyone's motivation stays great and everyone still stays enjoying the hike while you're out there, and really how to have a good strong finish, how to end the hike in a way that everybody still wants to do it again next time. When you're planning for your hike, the first thing you should try and think about is how to talk with the other members of your party about setting your goals. Okay, they're back. So we're going to have the conversation about how far we're going to go. And I am the one who usually goes hiking with the kids, so I am usually the one who sort of leads those conversations because I have a little bit more experience with what their ability is and how fast they can go. So I'm going to set out that I think today a good distance might be 3 or 4 miles. What do you guys think? Bart, what would you like to do?
I want to do 5 miles maybe.
Bart says he wants to do 5 miles. Teddy, how far would you like to go?
4 miles.
Teddy says he wants to go 4 miles. Jojo, how far would you like to go?
I think 4 miles is a good limit.
Okay, well, we're going to have a hard limit of 4 miles. Even if we feel really, really good at the 2-mile turnaround, we're still going to turn around there. I think it might be a good idea to, at the 1.5 mile mark, just see how we're feeling. All right, well, talk to you again soon.
Yeah.
We like to include the kids in these discussions because they're going to be hiking with us too, after all. We like to think about things like, what kind of terrain should we do this on? Things like rocky or steep or hilly trails might seem like they're out of reach for kids, and you might think that the flat terrain might be easier for a child to handle, but in our experience, the kids get really bored and start whining really quickly when you have a flat trail that they're doing maybe like a mile or 2 on. They'd much rather go for a longer hike in things like, well, near us there's Devil's Lake State Park, where there are beautiful bluffs that you can climb up, and there's lots of stairs, lots of rocks to climb, lots and lots of steep and hilly ways to go, but they love it because it's a challenge for them. It keeps them mentally engaged while they're moving their bodies. Not only that, but as being slightly shorter than the adult members of our group, they have a lower center of gravity, so moving uphill is not quite as difficult for them as it is for us. That means that they feel like they can keep up a lot easier, and they feel more accomplished and proud of themselves. So if you're taking kids who have any experience in hiking at all on a hike, I highly suggest going somewhere where there's something interesting, like climbing over rocks or going through a stream, something that'll capture their interest and make it interesting. And the other thing you want to think about is how far you want to go. And I'm going to recommend that if you're going on a family hike, don't try and set any distance records, especially for the youngest or the ones who are the least experienced of your group. Sure, my 4-year-old may have done 5 miles one day, and he was very proud of himself, but it's a lot harder for him to do that when he's in a group of people who are walking faster and who might not stay as patient if he does his normal, slower pace. So make sure that you think about that and maybe pull back your expectations a little bit. If the little guy has to go faster, maybe make him not have to go quite as far. And no matter what you plan, don't be rigid in what you're planning. The thing is, these are kids. They're unpredictable. You need to be flexible in order to make sure that everybody is going to have a good time. If it looks like it's not going to pan out this time, they're probably not going to want to go again if you get really frustrated and angry because it didn't work out perfectly. Make sure that you give yourself and them a little grace. This is new to everyone. Once you have your goals set and you've found a trail that meets your needs, it's time to start planning. Starting to pack your bag and start getting the kids hyped up and making sure you know what you're going to wear when you go hiking. The things that we like to have in our bag when we are going hiking include things like some sort of snack or meal, depending on how long we're going. And make sure you bring water. Water is especially important. Kids and you all need to stay hydrated when you're hiking. It can get pretty dry out there. And for snacks, make sure it's something lightweight but calorie dense. Trail mix is called that for a reason. But you can also include things like mixed nuts, or granola bars, or peanut butter and jam sandwiches. Just make sure that you've got something that if the kids get hungry, or if you get hungry, you can keep that energy up. And the last thing we need to talk about when we are talking about our planning stage is clothing. We need to make sure that whatever you are wearing is comfortable and well-fitting, especially the shoes. We had an incident earlier this year where I trusted my 4-year-old when he said, "Oh yes, they're so comfortable, they fit me so well," and I didn't check because I was in a hurry. And it turned out that they were 2 sizes too big for him. We didn't even make it through 2 miles before his feet were so heavy and it was so tiring. We had to buy some different shoes for him so we could continue our hike. He did it really well that day, but only after we got him some proper well-fitting shoes. Make sure too that the kids don't come out with something that's not appropriate for the weather. I don't know how many times I've said, okay, we're going hiking today, and it's a summer day, it's in the 80s, and the kids will come out wearing long pants. And then I have to make them change, because they're gonna die of heat if they wear stuff like that. Just make sure that whatever the kids are wearing, it is something that they can hike in all day without being too hot or too cold. Make sure you're doing that for yourself as well. Now, once you have all of the planning out of the way, make sure that you are taking some time to really hype up that hiking trip. This is going to be so exciting. We're going to see these great things. Remind them, if they've gone before, what fun things they saw along the way or how proud of themselves they were of completing their goals. You really want them to be really raring to go and excited for this new experience, this fun opportunity to go and be outside in nature with their family while they're moving their bodies. The last time we went hiking, my youngest was so excited to go hiking that he had trouble eating his breakfast, which was partially our fault. We were having a picnic right where he could see the trail, and he just couldn't eat because he kept staring at that trailhead. We're at a trailhead right now, and Teddy just sees the head of the trail, and he's having trouble eating his breakfast, I think, because he's so excited about the hike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we did our job of hyping him up pretty well that day. And the last thing before you start out, I know it seems like there's a lot of prep work for this, but make sure that you set expectations for behavior before you start hiking. For us, our family rules are that Mom and Dad have to stay patient and the kids can't whine. And I am not above bribing the kids and myself and my husband if we can behave properly. It's just as important that my husband and I stay patient and calm with the kids, because they're less likely to whine then. And it's very important for them to not whine because that helps us stay calm and patient. As long as we're all on our best behavior, we can all help each other have a great experience. Once you've got all that planning and prep work out of the way, and you're finally on the trail, the kids are going to be so excited. For the first few minutes anyway. As fun as hiking and exploring can be, eventually it can be a little monotonous, unless you start to point out exciting things that you can see along the way. On this day, we found a lone blueberry in all of these blueberry bushes along this sort of swampy area that we were hiking through. Where we're hiking right here happens to be in a pretty boggy place, so we have some blueberries right here.
There aren't, well, and the dog is getting him in the frame, but that's okay. She's adorable. You see these scrubby little brushes, and they're pretty picked bare. But you see that one lone little blueberry right there? It's pretty cool.
That same day, we also saw quite a few turtles sunning themselves, although they did not cooperate quite as well for the camera. If you're an adult, used to hiking at a faster pace, sort of looking around and seeing what your surroundings are can also make the hike a little bit more exciting for you. And just think about how excited the kids will be when you point out that awesome bird, or that funny shaped rock, or that puffy cloud, or that feather over there, or the frog hopping across the trail. They'll think it's so cool, and they'll think you're pretty cool too. Another thing that's important to do with kids is make sure that you plan breaks every so often. When we first got started hiking, more than a few minutes here or there, I made sure that every half a mile we would take a break to make sure that the kids were getting enough water, or, so that my youngest could get out of the sling or the stroller and stretch a little bit, because that's where he was most of the time here. Also, at these half-mile checkpoints, the littlest guy can make the decision if he wants to keep riding or walk some more. It really worked well for them when they were younger and less experienced. Now that we have a little bit more experience with the kids, we usually stretch it out to about a mile in between. But you are going to have to take breaks more often than you adults will need to. This is something that I really struggle with, because when I'm hiking, I just want to hike right through. I get kind of stiff when I have to sit for too long, and so it does make it a little bit harder for me, but trust me, the kids are going to feel better and more able to come up against any of these challenges that they come into if they've got a little bit of rest and they're making sure to stay hydrated along the way. Also, when the kids get a chance to rest properly, they are way more likely to keep a positive attitude and whine a whole lot less along the way. Speaking of whining, our rule is that the kids are not allowed to whine. However, this is a really hard thing that we're asking them to do. I like to make a distinction between whining and being in that negative headspace where you're just thinking about all the things that are going wrong, and just mentioning things that are a little bit sore or tired, keeping you updated on how they're doing during the day. As long as they're mostly keeping a positive, upbeat attitude and are just mentioning, oh, my feet are getting a little sore, or I'm getting a little tired, that's fine. We're not calling that whining. But as soon as they go, I'm tired, my feet hurt, I'm hungry, when are we stopping again? Can I get some water? How far have we gone? Are we there yet? And so on and so on and so on. At that point, I can tell that they've really gotten into their heads and are really dwelling in that negative space. And I try and remind them that if they whine, they're not going to get that candy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I do know that a hike where the kids aren't whining is better for them because they're not dwelling on the things that are hard for them. And it's better for us because it's really hard to deal with whining kids, especially when you're trying to do something that's fun for them. My oldest, who is 6, has really been working on his constructive, positive attitude lately. As I like to say, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, but we can always find the fun and the pride in what we accomplish. Above all, try to maintain your patience. If we're asking the kids to maintain a positive attitude, the least that we can ask of ourselves is that we try to be flexible and patient. The things aren't always going to go perfectly as planned. Sometimes you may need to carry someone a little ways, or it might get cooler or rainier than you expected. Sometimes there might be a whole lot of whining. Maybe you're getting sore or more tired than you had expected for yourself. Getting impatient is not going to help anyone in this situation. Trying to be flexible and calm is going to make it so that everyone remembers this as a fun experience. Towards the end of the hike especially, you and the kids are going to be tired. It'll be much harder for you to keep your temper, and it'll be harder for them to keep up a positive attitude. At this point, we like to play I Spy with the kids, or really any game that has them focusing on things outside of their own bodies. We sing songs, we remind them that they can do hard things and so can we, and we like to tell them how proud we are of them. This is a hard thing that we're asking them to do, and it's really amazing that they're rising to the challenge. And remember, if your kiddo does need to be carried a little way, it's not the end of the world. It's more important that they remember this as a fun and fulfilling experience than that they reach the arbitrary goal that they decided on today. It's really going to lead to more successful and fulfilling encounters with hiking in the outdoors in the future if they really think about this as a positive experience. And if all they could remember is that they didn't reach their goal and you were disappointed, or that they were so tired at the end and they didn't think they could make it, then they might not want to do this again. And I think it's my job to make sure that the kids want to do this again, because really, I love hiking with my kids. I want to make sure that they enjoy hiking with me and my husband for a very long time to come. Remember how proud of yourself you are when you finish? I'll ask them. We're almost there, and I am so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you.
Just got to get across this bridge and then you're done, kid.
This is pretty much what we wanted, isn't it?
She wanted to go out.
Yeah, BB had a great time.
Oh yeah, BB's having fun today.
I just love nature.
Bart loves nature.
Hey
Yeah.
Bart, what song were we singing for like the whole last mile?
Yeah. What song were we singing?
The end for marching.
Yep, the ants were marching. Should we sing it now?
I want to do the bird song. I don't think
Oh,
we'll have
you're
enough
so
time
silly.
to finish.
We can do a verse. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching one by one, hurrah!
Wait.
The farts go marching one by one, the little one stops too.
Make a pun.
And they all go marching down and around to get out of the rain. Do, do, do.
All right, we're so close to being done.
All right, here's the
Okay,
end of the
one
bridge
more
right up
I
here.
spy. I
Thank you
spy
everybody
something
for
that
coming
is
on a hike with
blue.
us. You guys want to say bye-bye?
All right, bye-bye. Thanks for hiking with us.
You want to say bye, Bart?
Bye.
You want to say bye, Jenny? All right, here we go.
If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if any of our content sounds interesting to you, again, I do cooking and lifestyle mostly, while my husband does gaming and philosophy. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you never miss one of our Monday videos. Thanks for watching.